Hey there, welcome back. Geo here. It's week 2 of Teach the Teacher. The assignment I selected is Photoshop. I'm going to use Photoshop to create an ad for an upcoming tutorial in Premiere Pro. All right, well, let's just jump right into this. First, I'll show you the ad that I created. This is the ad I did in Photoshop. Use some layers down here. We'll go through and talk about how we created those. We used a logo and some text and a background image. I will create a new file. I went ahead and selected something, and then I made it 1080 and 1080 and get a perfect square. Good for Instagram. So there is a blank artboard in Photoshop. It has one layer. We're going to change that. First, we're going to bring in an image that I had previously downloaded. So let's just go ahead and open that in Photoshop. I'm going to go over to my browser here, my Finder, and I'm going to find that image. Here it is right here. And I'm just going to right click it and open it in Photoshop. Now, after it's opened in Photoshop, I'm going to copy it and paste it into our new document. This is the image that I selected. It's just an image of Premiere Pro, which is what that tutorial is about. So I'm going to select all by hitting Command A and copy, Command C, and then I'm going to jump back over to my untitled over here. It shouldn't be untitled, so let's go ahead and save it. Let's save it as, I already had created this, so I'll just copy that text and we'll put .1 advert.1. So we have Teach the Teacher, advert.1, week 2. Okay, so you see it's named it up here in our tab, so we can always go back and find it. This is the image that we copied from, but it's in the buffer now. So all I have to do is Command V, and now you see it's pasted it in there. Now, it's a little bit big, so I'm going to use Command minus to zoom out on my artboard. And if I select the Move tool, you can see the actual size is really big compared to what we're doing. We're going to have to shrink that down. If you didn't have Show Transform Controls checked here, you wouldn't see that. So that could be, so make sure, if you're looking for that, make sure you turn this on. Okay, couple quick things. We don't have a lot of time, but a couple quick things. If you grab this corner, it's going to shrink into, it's going to use the opposite corner as the axis. So it'll shrink into, or it'll get larger, just to the opposite corner. So if you're in the lower right, it's going to go to the upper left. If we're in the lower left, it's going to go to the upper right. If you want to go straight into the middle, you just hold the Option key. When you hold the Option key and move this, and it goes straight in the center of where you are. So you can always move it somewhere close to center, however you want to do this. I know I want to get some of that Premiere logo down there toward the bottom. And that is about what I want. Okay, so we have one layer. That's our background. I'm going to go ahead and call that BG. By double-clicking here, I can name each layer. That keeps us organized so we can find stuff. Some of these Photoshop documents get many, many layers. You really want to name them so you can find them and not get lost. So now we want to add a Premiere Pro logo to this. So we'll go back to the Finder and we'll find that logo. So there it is. Same thing I did before. I'm going to right-click and I'm going to say Open with Photoshop. So this is going to open it up here. And I'm going to select all, Command A, copy, Command C, go back to our project, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it. Now what's happened here is it's pasted it into a new layer down here. So we have now a layer 1. I might as well double click that and call that logo right now, because we know that's the logo. Okay, now I'm going to Command minus, and I'm going to go ahead and shrink that back up into that corner. We already know how that works. I'm going to zoom back in. Next, we want to add some text to this. So here is the text tool. So I'm going to click the text tool, and I'm going to click here and just start typing. I typed Premiere Pro tutorial, but you can't really see it all because the font is too big. This is paragraph, which is some of our positioning, and character. You can turn these on under the window menu if you want. You can turn them on, off and on. I like to have them up there because I use them all the time, especially when using text. Many ways to size this. I could just use the move tool and I could grab these corners and I could change the size like that and then drag it back over. By the way, if you are centered up in here and you want to move this around, if you hold the space bar, you get this hand. Now when you click and drag, you're just moving the artboard around. Okay, so we're going to go work back out a little bit, and I'm going to hand tool to center that up a little bit. Okay, so I did not spell tutorial correctly. Let's correct that. I couldn't see it. So if I double click in here and slow double click, now I can go back and change that K to an L. Okay, that's great. Now I want to make some more text. So that text made a new layer right here, and the text layer always names itself whatever text you typed in there. But I want a duplicate of that. I could copy that layer, I could drag it down into a new layer and it would make a copy of it just like that. Or I'm going to undo that, Command Z, or I can click it and I can hold Option and drag a new version of that right there. Then I can double click in here and I can type something else, like when this might happen. I'm just going to go ahead and drag this text down till it's about the same width, because I think that would look neat. And I'm going to use my up and down arrows to kind of nudge it into kind of close to the spot that I want it. And that looks good. Let's go ahead and do another text. I'm going to select it again with the move tool. I'm going to hold Option, make a new version. You can see it's making a new layer down here every time I do this. Double click in there and drop in and have fun. Drop in and have fun. Let's break it right here. That's great. Okay. But I don't really want it justified. I'm going to select it, then I'm going to go over to the paragraph tool and center it. Okay, now I'm going to move the whole thing. I'm going to nudge it. I could drag it and stuff, but I'm going to nudge it because I find it's a little more precise for me, but it take me all day to do it this way. If I hold the Shift key, it goes by tens, so I can go quite a bit faster. Usually I'll go ahead and get it close. Okay. And there's the ad. That was kind of fun. I hope you picked up some great, useful tips. I'll see you around.